All right, welcome to Creator Hardware, and today we're going to build a new gaming slash streaming slash content creation PC. So we're going to go over the parts, and this will be a full water-cooled build. We're using a AMD 7900 non-X. It can be overclocked to X levels, so I figured I'd save the 20-30 bucks or whatever it was and use that. Quickly, let's get into why I chose AMD over Intel. Intel's platform is got one more and done. They're probably doing a 14th gen refresh, and that platform will be no longer supported, whereas AMD will be continuing on with support for AM5 for at least a couple generations. So I decided to go with the ability to upgrade as time goes on. Now for motherboard, I went with an MSI Mag X670E Tomahawk Wi-Fi. I don't really need the Wi-Fi, but I did not want to go with an Asus board because of all the issues that Asus has had. We'll get into that in a minute. I'm using a EK Quantum Velocity CPU block, as well as a EK Quantum Kinetic Pump Res combo. Now the case I'm using for it is a Phanteks NV7 PC case. I've already done a review on that case on this channel. Go check it out if you want to see that. It's a great case. Very good showcase style PC case. For memory, I'm going with G.Skill, a 32 gig kit of 6,000 mega transfers. AMD can't go much higher than that. Now getting into my decision on the RAM, for my primary purposes, 32 gigs is fine. If while I'm redoing my main editing rig, if I find that I need 64 gigs, it's easy to swap out memory, so I'll swap it out if I need to, but for right now, 32 gigs will be fine. I've got, for storage, I've got a Samsung 2 terabyte 980 Pro. I did not worry about going to Gen 5 or anything like that. And also have a P5 Plus 1 terabyte for scratch and games. So I got plenty of storage. All storage is NVMe, so plenty fast. The big boy, and this will probably get me questioned a lot, is an Asus 4080. The reason I went with Nvidia over AMD is simply because of Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro does most of their development with Nvidia. AMD's not so much. OpenCL is not as effective, and because of one of the things I need to do is use that PC to edit videos with Premiere, I decided to stick with Nvidia. It's the only reason. Putting a Corsair water block on it. Now for radiators, I've got two Corsair XR5 360 radiators. And for fans, going Lian Li Unifans. Hardline 12 millimeter. The reason I went with 12 millimeter is I have fittings and, well, the stuff to cut and bend it. Whereas at my local micro center, they didn't have anything in 14 millimeters. All they had was 12 and 16. So as I found out, I needed more fittings. So I had to go up to micro center to buy fittings. So it was a good thing I went with 12 millimeter. The PMMA tubing from Corsair is fantastic. Much preferred over dealing with PETG or the older acrylic. I've never worked with glass. Definitely my favorite for tubing. Now coolant, using EK CryoFuel. It's actually what's in my other PC as well. It has done great. Now I'm using clear in this PC. In my other PC, I've got orange, and I've had zero problems with the EK CryoFuel, so I went ahead and got clear for this build. Now for power supply, I went with the Asus ROG Strix 1000 watt. The reason I went with this is I could get cable mod cables for it, and it's the Seasonic is the OEM for it, so I know it's good. And I couldn't find a 1000 watt Seasonic or EVGA for a decent price, so this was cheaper. And I am using cable mods off the shelf cables for it. So let's talk about why I have two of these. One is getting RMA'd. So I did what I was supposed to do, and I bench tested it, put the stock cooler on it, put memory in it, booted it, it booted fine. Reflashed the BIOS, rebooted fine. I think I rebooted it a third time with a GPU on it. Booted fine. And then I went to assemble the PC. And well, that's a problem. Unfortunately, my motherboard decided to die. I don't know what's going on with AM5 board quality, but that seems to be a thing with this generation. I mean, immediately went to CPU error every time I tried to boot, with a GPU, without a GPU, failed every time. It would no longer boot. So I had to pull it all back apart and reassemble it. Did not find anything wrong with the board, didn't see anything physically blown. I had since booted it after the BIOS flash. So unfortunately, just a dead board.